Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Esther from Esther's Orchids. Today I'm going to do my video on an update with my keikis that I managed to grow, only 2 of from last year, which was one of my projects. And I'm going to repot them now that they have hopefully enough root system, and before they have too much root system to be able to get them into an appropriate pot. So I'm going to put them both into fern fibre today, and I have already pre-drilled some holes in the bottom of my little plastic pots just to help with drainage. So both pots have some holes. I contemplated drilling some holes in the side as well, but I think to start off with my fern fibre, it's going to be reasonably dry because all of these are just aerial roots and I'm not going to want to soak them too much first in anything and rot the wee root system that they do have. So if you wonder what these little dishes are that I use, these are from my favourite thing, available in New Zealand, Jarrah Mocha Coffee, Swiss Mocha. So that's where the lids come from, and I use these a lot on my little pots as saucers rather than buying saucers. The other things you can use instead of saucers are like the lids off your plastic peanut butter containers or Marmite or whatever you use that comes in your pantry. I try to keep my spending for the unnecessary things down to a minimum. So we'll go through my orchids and then I'm going to have to sit down to pot them up. So this keiki here has 4 good roots, and I'm going to cut the spike back a bit and just let the roots take over, and maybe use a bit of cinnamon. So we'll find the cinnamon. The second one only has 1 good root, so I'll bring that a little closer to the camera for the keiki anyway. So this keiki here has 3 little leaves, well, 1 little leaf and 2 bigger leaves, but it's starting to get a bit yellowy, which means that it really isn't sucking enough nutrients from the adult plant, and it only has that 1 huge, big, long aerial root. I was hoping that it would provide or start some more, because the base of that little plant is quite tiny, really. Just trying to get you the best view there of the actual base of the plant where it joins onto the stem. But along with this plant, she's also giving me a pod, if I can keep that still. So that plant has a pod growing as well. So I pollinated that with another mini, I do believe. So we are going to go ahead and cut it off. The unfortunate thing is when I sit down I'm a bit further away from the camera and the sound gets to be a little less. However, we shall sit down and get going. So I have already used a thing with isopropyl alcohol to clean my scissors. So we are just going to chop and get going. I think I will do the little one first. So we want something to do a nice clean sharp cut for the sake of the actual plant. So we'll pop that away and we'll show on screen what we have here of our little keiki. Its stick is dried at one end and we just have that 1 root. So we are going to put this one in the smallest pot. So I am going to snip that dry bit back a bit because we don't want anything on there that can rot. And it's already dry. I had to be very careful not to actually cut the root there. And the rest of the stalk I'm just going to leave on. Don't see that that's going to do any harm because we can put that above the air or in the air and let it suck the moisture out of there, and when that's gone I can cut that off when it's gone dry. So this is going to go into the smaller pot, for which I'm going to put some bark in the pot. Oh, I just need one more thing quickly before I get started. Fern fibre, although I find it very, very good, is just a little tad messy. So I'm going to try and hold the plant above the height of where I want it, but try and get it so that it's right placing in the pot. And then I'm going to put the fern fibre around it. So I'm just using my fern fibre dry today. And then because the root has been aerial and is not used to an awful lot of moisture, I don't want to go and stick it into something really, really, really wet and then go and rot the only one root I have. So my fern fibre is just going in very loosely and is going in dry for now. I still want that green stalk above the fern fibre. And I just want to gently place that around the base of the stem, what's going to be the stem of the phal. And I'm probably not going to do too much more than that. Get that closer to the camera so that you can see. So what I've done is filled up the pot right up to almost to the top of the root of the aerial root of the plant, and from there on I'm just going to mist it with some of the root growing hormone that I have, that I've used for all of my baby phals. It is called KLM from Dynagrow, and I will be using that on this plant until she starts to establish some more roots. So that is plant number 1. Plant number 2 is definitely going to need some of this in the bottom of the pot before we get started. I don't want to push that down too much, I just want to leave that quite loose. I'm just going to re-sterilise my scissors. It's the drying out of the alcohol that helps kill any pathogens or bugs, so we'll just quickly let that dry it out. Yes, I used to soak them for 5 or 10 minutes or so, but I ended up spilling more isopropyl alcohol than I ended up using, so that kind of annoyed me. So I'm just having a look there where I'm going to cut this one, and I think I'm going to give it about an inch. No, it needs to be able to get it about 3/4 of an inch, I think that is at a guess. So there is my stem coming off. I'm also going to cut the other side of the stem at about the same length. So there's my Keiki. It definitely needs a fungal spray once it gets settled. It had a few bumpy glitches in its leaves here when it's been close to the light, and that's the reason why I think it might be needing a fungal spray. It's got some light and dark patches in there, and it's definitely getting to the stage where it is not getting enough nutrients. This plant had a big struggle as well, the mother plant, and I've finally got it back into a pot. I've made sure that I've watered that really well a couple of days in advance and given it some fertilizer so it could soak everything up through the plant. But now at least my plant has stiff leaves, not flopsy as they used to be, and this leaf is already progressing much better than that leaf there did. But you can see that it had a real sort of stunted part there where it really wasn't getting enough of anything to help it grow. So it was getting a bit stressed out with this Keiki. So I am going to just put that on top of the moss. Yep, that's what I was thinking. But they are going to have to... So I'm not even going to try and squash that down any. otherwise I fear that I will break the roots. So we shall leave it in the pot, just kind of placed like that, and then pop a wee bit more moss around it. Sorry, a wee bit more fern fibre around it. These roots have been used to the light, so they're going to find if I put too much of that around that they're going to lose their light. But at least this way they will be able to get a bit more moisture. I'm going to pop a bit down that side there. And I'm going to leave one of those aerial roots just sticking up in the air and cover the rest. The good thing with this fern fibre is that it is really wicking, so it will kind of spread its moisture around the entire pot. I will let it soak up some moisture from the bottom of the pot, but I certainly won't be having it very super wet. So this is how about I'm going to be leaving it for now. It has one aerial root still coming up in the air, and it has the other two going down into the moss. It still has the stalk sticking up in the air. I will let that dry out naturally so that it doesn't rot or mould. And that is the repotting of, apart from giving it a spray with some KLM Dynagrow rooting hormone or rooting concentrate. Well, it won't be concentrated by the time I'm using it. It will just be mixed to the right quantity with water. And we will see how these keikis grow. Alrighty, if you like this channel, please remember to press that subscribe button. With it being 2020, I really need to try and get some more subscribers. I have 85 at the moment, which I think is pretty good for an orchid channel that only started a year and a half ago in a small country. Luckily, YouTube is worldwide, and anyone from any country can subscribe. It's free. It's as easy as clicking the subscribe icon and pressing the bell for the kind of notifications that you want. And it's free and easy. So subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching my video today, and I hope you have a happy 2020 since it's still only the 4th of January. Thank you everybody. You have a great day. Bye bye.